Hello, Shadowcat back with a bit of a channel update here. I don't usually do these channel updates. Usually it's just the monthly short, but this is something that actually does require a bit of an actual update video. Bit of a good news, bad news situation here. So yeah, and if you're looking at the title of this, you already know what the bad news is, but we'll get to that in a minute. But first off, we'll get to the less important but much more palatable good news. The good news is my channel is doing great. I just passed 400 subscribers not that long ago, mostly thanks to the Hell of a Boss theory video I put out, which is by far and away the most successful video I've ever done, which means that people are already expecting more. And while I do have at least one more video rolled up, yeah, a lot of pressure on that one. Hoping that I can do better on the next one and maybe even come up with a few more in the future. People like it? Do the things that people like. So that will be coming if I can manage to pull it off. And for all the new people that came to the channel, all the people that graced that video with their views and left comments in the comment section, everything, thank you. Sincerely. It actually meant a lot to me. I spent pretty much the entire day responding to comments on there. I got basically nothing else done because I wanted to respond to every person who commented on that video, and I think I actually managed to pull that off. I did say that I would try to, or I do respond to all comments on my videos, and I will continue to do that until it is physically impossible to do. Which, you know, good problem to have, if I can get up that high. And I will get up that high someday. Unfortunately, that's kind of the end of the good news, though. And the actual purpose of this video is to give out the bad news, which is something that I've been putting off for a long time, but I'm kind of out of time in several different ways. Alright, so foundationally speaking, about me. I don't like to share a whole lot of details about myself, but if you watch any of my videos, you've heard me complain about the fact that I have really poor vision. I like to jokingly call myself 3/4 blind, because I only have one eye, and the one eye that I do have is not great by a large margin. It's bad enough that even though I used to drive, I gave up driving a long time ago because it was simply too dangerous. I had too many close calls in too short a time, and I said, if I keep driving, I'm going to either kill myself or I'm going to kill somebody else. And if I was to kill myself, well, I mean, then my problems are over. If I kill somebody else, my problems have only just begun. So rather than doing that, I've decided that it's time. It's too dangerous for me. My vision has degraded to the point where it's no longer safe. The problem with that is, I live out in the sticks. I literally live in a little town of all of 700 people. And I can tell you, it's only counting 700 because they count the cows and the chickens. Not sure how many of which is making up that population, but yeah, it's very small area. To the point where we only have like a few actual stores around here. And when I say stores, I mean there's a Dollar General and a gas station. And that's more or less the extent of it. So, I used to work, and I used to work not too far from here. However, my story is kind of the same as a lot of other people's. When COVID hit and everything got shut down, I, like a lot of other people, kind of lost the job. And at first, I was like, okay, that's fine. I have always been a very frugal person. I had a decent savings, and I was in pretty good shape. So when COVID hit and everything got shut down, I really wasn't all that worried about it. And I managed to get through with, you know, a little bit of assistance and all of my savings. However, after COVID started to lift, I never got back to work. The job that I had before didn't take me back, and, well, not driving, the options I had were very slim. I don't live close enough to anywhere else to really bike to it, And even if I tried to bike to it, the roads around here are dangerous for a myriad of reasons. The primary one being just traffic, a lot of blind corners and a lot of fast traffic. The kind that, tends to mow down people on bicycles. So it really limited my options. However, I thought about it for a bit and said, you know, with the pandemic in place, all I really have available to me are my games. Why don't I try to do something with that? Now, obviously, by 2020, the entire gaming market on YouTube had long since played itself out. So the idea of me actually making a successful channel that could do this, well, it was a long stretch to begin with. But I'm a fairly charismatic individual. I can hold my own in a conversation, and anybody who subscribed to me would seem to agree that at least a few people out there like me. So, thumbs up to you. You are literally the entirety of all of my self-esteem. I knew it was long odds that it was ever going to work, but I really didn't lose anything by trying. And honestly, now that I'm doing it, I regret not doing it sooner. I should have been doing this 10 years ago. I mean, my growth has not been phenomenal, but had I been doing this 10 years ago, I would probably be self-sufficient online by now. And really, self-sufficiency is all I really wanted. My living situation is not so desperate. I only need about $600 a month or so to live on. Now, mind you, I don't own a house, I don't have a family. My bills are my own, and yeah, about $600 a month. And I figured, I'm never going to be the next PewDiePie. I'm never going to be any of these big YouTubers, and I don't need to be. I don't need millions of dollars a year. I just want to get by. Again, I live below my means. I always have. However, growth was slow, and I knew that it would be, but I had a few other irons in the fire. I did hit up things like disability because not being able to drive and my vision further deteriorating, I thought that perhaps that might have been an option. And as it turns out, it's not. So despite the fact that I really can't see well enough to drive, and even the state agrees that I don't get a license, not anymore. I moved here from Texas, and in Texas, their requirements to drive is usually 2 working feet. So they didn't really care about how bad my vision was. Here, though, they do. So they've agreed that no, I can't drive, and I can't really do anything else that requires working eyeballs, so that actually nixes a lot of jobs out there. Either way, they have been fighting me on it for the last 2 years, 3 years. It's been a long time, and the fight's not over yet. The fight is still going, but the fight's not over yet. The long and short of it is, I burned through all of my savings within a year. After that, I had to fall back on credit. Now, I had a roughly 800-ish credit score. And while finances are, at least complex finances, anything more complex than a budget, is kind of beyond me, I understand that an 800 score is good. I don't know why it's good or how it's good, but I was told that it was good, and so I had an extensive line of credit. And I burned through pretty much all of that as well, waiting for the state and things like that. So that has long since run out as well, and that has left me relying on the good graces of people around me. However, those good graces have run out, and unfortunately that leaves me in the particular position that I am in now. The unfortunate truth is that this channel is probably going to be going through a hiatus soon. Now, how long that hiatus is, I don't know what it is, but the fact of the matter is this. I cannot, and technically speaking, have not been able to for a long time afford my telecommunications, my phone and my internet. They're all kind of one thing together. And, well, I can't pay the bills anymore. So even though I will be able to live, I mean, I have access to food and things like that. Telecommunications are going to be gone sometime probably later in July. Now, don't worry about me. I'm not going to end up on the street, I don't think. And I'm not going to starve either. And generally speaking, I've told people that I am a furry before and that my fursona has always been a black cat. It's been the joke that I have always been the lucky black cat because I always land on my feet and everything tends to turn out in the end for me. Always has throughout my life, and I'm sure that it will this time as well. The only problem is I don't know when it's going to happen or how long it's going to take for me to land on my feet again. Which unfortunately is why I am making this video now. It's probably going to happen later in July, and I don't know when it's going to be resolved. It could be resolved quickly, and perhaps I could be back in a month, maybe? Maybe less than that, depending on how things roll. It could also be longer than that. And believe me, this could not come at a worse time for me. I was finally gaining traction. YouTube had just lowered their requirements for monetization, at least for everything except for AdSense, to 500 subscribers. I think that I'm currently sitting at 402 or 403. I'm less than 100 away from monetization, and then I get this. And time has just run out. Had I started this 10 years ago, like I realized I should have, I'd probably be in a much better place now. But I'm not there. So you deserve to know the truth. Because if I was to just disappear someday, it would leave a lot of people asking questions, and you deserve better than that. Things that are important. I don't have a whole lot of patrons on my Patreon, but what I will do is this. When the time comes, if the time comes, and I mean fingers crossed that it doesn't, but if/when it happens, my Patreon will be put on pause. I do have several people that are supporting me, but if I'm not producing anything, you don't owe me anything, and thus you won't be paying me for anything. It will be suspended however I have to do that. I don't exactly know how, but there's got to be a button on there somewhere to do it. And that's really the most important thing because I don't want anybody to be put out like that. Am I going to lose subscribers from it? Probably. I would hope that you wouldn't leave the channel, but if you did, I'd understand that. And then, of course, if I go long enough without producing content, then YouTube will just start unsubscribing people from me anyway, because that's what YouTube do. But with any luck, I'll be back before too much time passes, and things will just resume as they normally did. I'll give a quick little video to announce that I'm back, and we'll get right back on schedule. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm aiming for. I mean, with any luck, this entire thing will just be a little bit of a blip in my online career, and everything turns out well in the end. And it will turn out well in the end. If you've ever been to any of my my lectures on the weekends, then you'll know that I tend to be a bit of a downer usually. I usually have a lot of bad news to convey or a lot of pessimistic points, but the one thing that I always like to remind people is no matter how bad things get, they always get better in the end. And they have to get better in the end. I mean, it may be a little bit cynical, maybe a little bit nihilistic, but if things get bad enough that everything just ends, then it's no longer your problem anymore. And in so long as you're still alive and kicking, things will get better eventually. They always do. And so that's where we leave things here. Things are about to get bad, unfortunately. But bad things happen. That's part of life. I mean, bad things happen to us all, and this is just one of them. But they always get better in the end. And so I don't know when, I don't know for how long, but sooner or later I will be back, and I will bring everything back to you that I can. And if it never happens, then that's great, but I just wanted to make you aware. No more questions as to where'd Shadowcat go. Fact is, I'll still be around. I just won't be able to put the content out. And that's really all I needed to say today. You deserved to be warned, to be informed, to know what was going on, what was coming down the pike. And now you are. So, cross your fingers for me, wish me luck on all of my various endeavors, and yeah, that's all I got to say. Hopefully everything turns out quickly. And then I'll see you again. So, if you want to subscribe to the channel still, if you still feel like supporting me, please subscribe to the channel. Help me get my numbers up. I mean, if I could get a little bit of passive income, then maybe we could make things work out. I don't know. Oh, and hit the bell icon too. That way they actually tell you when videos come out. Because, like, this isn't one of my normally scheduled videos. So this is pretty much relying only on people who are either subscribed, well, pretty much just that, or if it gets shared. Like, if you want to share this video out, and I don't know why you would, but if you want to share this video out, then feel free to. But otherwise, if you want to help the channel out at all, if you want to help me out at all, leave a like on the video and leave a comment on the video, because those help drive the algorithm. The more attention my channel gets, the more the video gets shared out. The more the video gets shared out, the more attention I can attract and maybe someday make this into something livable. That was the intention the entire time. That and, you know, I like having people around. You are literally my entire social sphere. I don't go places. I can't travel. There's nowhere within, like, a half an hour's drive of here to go to. So, I'm definitely not walking anywhere. You are my entire world. I know, no pressure, right? See, pressure on me, pressure on you. It's symbiotic and possibly self-destructive. I don't know. But if you would do all that for me, and just, you know, keep a candle lit for me. Something that I can come home to. You know, just in case the worst happens. But I'll leave it off there. And I want to leave it off with this. For all the people that are subscribed to the channel, thank you. Again. I mean, all of this I've done for you. If you're subscribed, then I have to assume that I'm doing something right by you. So I'm going to try and keep doing what I can for as long as I can for you. You're the reason that I get up in the morning. And, I mean, I'm sure that I'm not the reason you get up in the morning, but if I can be just a small part of it, that's good enough for me. So keep that candle lit, and I will see you every single time I can. I will keep the schedule up as long as I can, and if I do have to go away, I will come back to you as fast as I can. So you take care, and I'll take care, and we'll see each other again somewhere down the road. Until that time, well, we'll see what happens. See you around.